You're listening to episode 306 of the Small and Supercharged podcast with Ria Freeman. So on today's Small and Supercharged podcast, we're joined by a friend of the podcast, Sarah Elebert, who you may know for the incredible brand, actually, Equitas, that started, it wasn't actually that long ago, but it's everywhere.
It's 2 years now.
Is that all?
Yeah, 2 years ago. We celebrated our second birthday recently, yeah.
Oh my goodness, go and check that out. But we're also going to talk to Sarah today about a new business that she started with a friend, which is not at all horsey. I mean, probably as far from horsey as you can get. And if you go near horses wearing this, bad times, called Envious Styling and Dress Hire. I've got so many questions. I mean, I've seen a real surge in the dress hire industry, and so many people really promoting it, like influencers online really promoting dress hire as, I mean, it ticks so many boxes, doesn't it? Sustainability, cost effective. You don't have to have one dress and then try and style. There was a brilliant Simpsons episode forever ago where she bought like one Chanel suit and she like restyled it loads of times because she didn't want to wear the same thing all the time, but it cost her the national debt to buy it. Anyway, tell us all about, where should we start? Tell us about how you got into this, because it's quite different from what you've been doing before.
It's quite simple, actually. My best friend is very stylish, naturally, and she has educated herself, and she has become a qualified personal stylist and image consultant. So she, throughout the years, has obviously had a passion for being stylish and good taste, shall we say. I'm not particularly stylish, so I don't know if it's if it's to everyone's taste, but she had established basically a wardrobe full and had a very, very strong with her own personal experience. So she's a mum of 4 boys. She has recently come out from being in the corporate world for over 20 years plus, so has had different lifestyles within her life so far. She has worked from home, she's obviously an entrepreneur, then she worked in the corporate world as well as being a mum and all that sort of stuff. So through those lived experiences, she's obviously learned how to dress her body shape, and she has invested time and energy into doing that, and basically could see where she could help a lot of people. Like, so for example, if I had something coming up, like I had a friend's wedding on New Year's Eve, and I just text Nichola and I said, this is what I have, it's a black tie do, can you help me out? She gave me over 4 or 5 dresses to try on and to pick out whichever one I wanted. So like, I had my own personal stylist and dress hire within her at my fingertips, and we basically just kind of put our heads together and said, right, how can we women one, feel better about themselves with their body image and their confidence. And I think one of the main things about clothes, which I have known, but I'm recently experiencing a lot more, having had my 2 daughters in 2 years, that what you wear and how you wear it makes a big difference to how you feel in a day. And essentially, your clothes can be your armor, and we want to help as many people feel as good as they possibly can, and just to be in a powerful and empowered situation where they know what they're putting on their bodies, and they feel really, really happy with what they're wearing.
I mean, I can't get over the 4 boys, to be honest. When you said that, my jaw dropped a bit, because I've seen pictures of your lovely business partner and she just looks incredible, like amazing, stylish, happy, fabulous. And I think it's really cool how you've taken that idea of actually something you were doing already, like phoning up your friend and going, what do I wear, to help other people. So what was the step between phoning her and going, I've got this problem, to starting a business together?
So she stepped out of the corporate world and was probably looking for something to do. And at the time, I had obviously started Equitas. We were very much about women empowerment. We were very much about, women supporting women, and it was really important to us that and like, one of Nicola's points is that whenever she speaks to somebody, like, we can all probably relate to this, that we're very, very quick to say what we don't like about ourselves and our bodies and our image, whereas we're not very quick to say what we actually do like. And that's where styling comes into it. It's about knowing what's working for you and how to capitalize on that, essentially. And as Nichola would admit herself, she has spent years camouflaging, a tummy area when she was having her boys, extending her legs. They're fabulous. So it's about that. And it just, when she wanted to do something else, I kind of said, well, I can help you. I can help you get your message across. I have skills and operations and running businesses behind the scenes. And I was like, okay, so, and I had said to her, I was like, you don't need me as a business partner. I will happily support you for free without having my name on any, and to help you get your message across. I was like, I will absolutely do that for you. And she said, no, this could be really, really fun to do it together. And we're very, very different as people. She's the creative and I'm kind of the opposite of it. So in our differences, we work very, very well together, and it has absolutely solidified our friendship tenfold. But we were starting from a very, very trusting ground. You know what I mean? We had a very, very, and we really, really trusted each other. So she knew I meant when I said it that I would help her for no gains at all. And she then knows, or I then know, that she is worth every ounce of effort and time that I put in. So it's her message, and I'm just helping get it across.
That's really cool. So did she start, or did you both start with an existing dress collection? Because what you do is you hire them out to people, don't you?
So eventually we had a good level of stock already in our possession, and we looked at what we had and we kind of did a bit of an inventory. And one of our main USPs, Rhea, is that we promote ourselves as being a dress hire with a difference. So the difference being Nichola, the difference being that we have a personal stylist behind the scenes actually curating our collection. It's not, and I don't mean to disregard any of the other dress hire companies by saying your typical dress hire company where they'll have a dress and they'll stock it in a number of different sizes, and in that way be inclusive. What we aim to do is that when we're buying a dress, we are buying for a particular person in mind. So we are buying for the person who wants to, dress for a family occasion. Right. What will they want? They will want something perhaps with sleeves or a bit more, or we're dressing for somebody who wants to live it up for their 40th. We're dressing with somebody, or we're buying and we're dressing that person in the forefront of our mind. And the main thing about our pieces is that they fit and flatter the bodies that wear them. And so we spend a lot of time identifying potential gaps in our stock and then filling them as we see fit. We do not tend to go out and buy what's on trend. That's not really kind of goes slightly against what our sustainable side of our passion comes from. We really want to buy something that is going to basically, that it is made for the person that's going to wear it. And that is really, really important to us. And I do think that that's what creates a little bit of a difference between Envious Dress Hire and other dress hire companies that are available.
So are you saying then that if there was a particular dress, you wouldn't necessarily stock it in sizes 4 to 24? You would think about the different shapes of the different people in different sizes, and then select dresses that are more likely to work for people of different shapes and sizes?
Absolutely. We only have one of each dress in stock. We don't have multiples at all across the board. And that's really, really important to us because, again, you're shopping for the person, the age demographic, the size, the event, the time of year, all of that is taken into account. And then when we're looking at the dresses, we're looking at the fit, we're looking at the material, we're looking at whether there's lining, we're looking at whether, is it too hot, too cold? Like, you will not find a more carefully curated collection for what you're looking for. And as a result, what we suggest is if people are coming for a try-on appointment to our studio, we suggest for them to try on as many as they can within the time frame, because they can basically shop for events for their year and know that they have those as a grounding for what they can work off of, so they can build their accessories on top of it and all that sort of stuff. So but that they know that what they've picked is perfectly targeted for what they're looking to wear it to and how they want to wear it.
So when you came up with this particular model, which from my understanding of dress hire is quite unusual, were you concerned that people might not get it, or were you concerned that you get people that come in and say, I want that in a size 14, and you go, no, we don't have it in a 14? Was that a worry, or?
It's not a worry as such. It's definitely a reality. People still want that and expect that, and that's fine. That's just not what we stand by. That's just not what our USP is. And what we can offer them is a lot more in the way I do give out to Nichola, because when she has a try-on appointment with a client, she's very, because she's a personal stylist and we do have styling packages available to buy, she gives so much away for free in these appointments. I'm like, you're literally, you're giving them so much value for money. It's not even funny, but it's what she does, and it's what she does so well, and she loves it. And everyone that walks out of the studio is literally either so happy with what they've hired, or they're come away with a fountain of knowledge that they can actually apply to all other areas of their life. So again, this is where we're slightly different. We're not just about the dress hire, and the styling part of it that comes in then is about dressing for your everyday wardrobe. So like if you think about like the 80-20, 80% of our wardrobes typically are only worn 20% of the time. There are fancy, or most of the money is on that 20%, where we should be spending more of our money and our time and our energy on what we wear every day and making that work for us. So there's a lot of knowledge and education that can be gained from Nichola and her insights and her experience, that we are showing through dress hire, but there's a whole other parallel to that, and a deeper parallel that people can capitalize on.
Now, since you've launched, it seems to have sort of skyrocketed a bit. Can you tell us a bit about what's happened between launch and now? Because that's not been a huge amount of time, has it?
No, we are probably officially about a year and a half in business, but really only kind of from January did we really hone in on where our niche was. And yeah, it has absolutely really popular. I think it's just consistency, really. It's getting the message across, and it's explaining to people the difference, it's just changing their kind of the mindset. Instead of just buying an outfit for an occasion, or even hiring an outfit for an occasion, there's so much more that can be brought into it, and when you look at the bigger picture. And that messaging, I think, is definitely starting to come through. We're also spending a lot more time listening. The big gap with the dress hire, we're spending a lot more time listening to our clients and listening to the people that come into the studio and learning from them as well. So we're evolving all of the time, and so much so then we have produced and developed a product and have launched it and started selling it, which is going phenomenally well. So that is another area that, it wouldn't have happened if we didn't start the dress hire company. It wouldn't have happened if we didn't start listening to people we're dealing with. And yeah, it's been very, very exciting to see where it's gotten so far, and then even to see where it could go. We're still early days.
So you said really what you're doing with the dress hire is you're kind of challenging, I guess, preconceptions around dress hire. And I can kind of see this with all the businesses that you've been involved with previously, because when you were doing a lot more coaching, you were the first person, I'm sure this is right, you were the first person, definitely to my knowledge, of doing the online coaching. Obviously, it went mad during COVID, but you were the first person that was like, actually, I can coach remotely. Then with Equitas, you as a group were like, no, we're gonna really push women and unashamedly promote women. Again, the great thing about equestrian sport is that men and women compete on equal terms. But you're like, no, this is what we're doing, and you haven't swayed from that. So I'm not that surprised that this isn't just a dress hire company. This is a dress hire company that has a really clear purpose, is challenging convention. Did you find that just quite an easy thing to do because you've done it so often and you don't just go for the obvious?
If I would be lying if I said that there was that much foresight gone into it when we started started it. I think in general it is, if I was to look at it, and the symmetry between the coaching side, then the women empowerment side and women supporting women, and then the dress hire side of it, it all so very well goes hand in hand, and I'm incredibly proud of that. Like, if that's what I'm leaving behind in the world, I am incredibly proud that there's consistency, and it seems to be the type of person and people that I surround myself with. And I'm incredibly proud of that. And it is when you surround yourself with people like my team at Equitas, with Shane and Mern, and even, you know, the wider team, the community there, where women are genuinely supportive of other women and championing other women, and, you know, wishing them nothing but the best, and offering their services and how can I help you, and sharing, and I mean, there's so much of that, obviously, Ria, with your mastermind group as well. Like, I mean, even being a part of that is inspiring. And would definitely have had a part to play in my thought and, you know, how I approach business. And it's not always the best for business, you know, but it's staying true to who you are in all aspects. And no matter what business I go into, I would like to think and hope that that will fundamentally stay the same and unchanged. So it's not a massive surprise that I've ended up in this circle, but if I'd have said that there was a trajectory from the very beginning where it would go, I would probably be lying.
And I think what's different about this one as well is you've got a product, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but you haven't sold a specific product before, have you?
No, this is a first for us all, and it was definitely a learning curve. There's so much of it that goes on behind the scenes, obviously, between the samples and the product and making sure that you're happy with it, to the packaging and the shipping and the, you know, even just and all of that goes on behind the scenes. So it has definitely been very, very trying and challenging, but in the best possible way. And so much so we're already looking at what other product we can bring out, and there's samples coming of other things. So it's yeah, it's very different in that way. But, you know, I love to stretch myself with a challenge, and it was definitely it. And so far it's proving itself really, really well. I have a lot more skills tethered to my name at this stage, but yeah, keep them coming, I say.
And with the product as well, do you feel that, again, with obviously with the coaching business, there's a kind of limit to how much coaching you can do because you're only one person. Obviously, Equitas has got a much bigger reach because of the kind of communication it is, digital communications, and obviously the events that you do, but quite niche in some ways. Whereas this is, it's not niche, and the expansion of is, well, it could be huge, couldn't it? Tell us a bit about the product and kind of how you feel about that growth potential.
So this product is called the Envy Band, and essentially it's a tucking tool. So if you are wearing a pair of jeans or shorts or a skirt, and you want to tuck your t-shirt in or your jumper in to the waistband, of course there's going to be a certain element of bulk, and the Envy Band is where you basically tuck your top or your t-shirt up into it rather than down into your jeans. And so it's really seamless, really comfortable, really, really effective, and it definitely has massive effect. So for me, technically, it has revamped my wardrobe, because there'd be stuff in my wardrobe that I either wouldn't wear, it didn't look right, didn't sit right, didn't have the right shape on it. And the Envy Band, you pull it into your wardrobe, you pull in different outfits, and all of a sudden you have all these outfit options, and you've restyled, you've revamped, and you've tweaked an outfit to fit exactly as it should in your head, especially when you're looking at Instagram and, you know, influencers and how they style things. Like, I mean, they're so unique as well, and you're kind of going, it doesn't look like that on me, but it can, and your wardrobe can absolutely be revolutionized. So we say that it's our wardrobe's most valuable player, is what we've kind of called it. And it's one of those things of, like, you're never going to Google Envy Band or tucking band. Don't really know that you need it until you see it. So for that reason, you know, our marketing has had to be quite on point. And as I said, we're still learning there, but it is it's definitely been a game changer for me. And I mean, the feedback, Ria, that we're getting in from it is just been incredible. Like, even a message in this morning saying, oh my God, I had 2 people ask me about this when they saw me out. Even we've gotten a few boutique now that want to stock it, and you're going, oh my God, like, I mean, who are we to be pushing this product, or who are we to be have this product attached to our name? But we came up with it, and saw that there was a need for it, and went with it and trusted our gut. So um yeah, it's definitely been a learning curve, but very, very proud of it. And like, at the end of the day, if we only sell what we've sold already, we have it sounds so kind of cliche, but we've made a difference.
Mm.
um, but it has definitely served its purpose, as in, we're very, very proud of what it's done so far and the feedback that we've gotten. And for us, it has and always will be a success. If it doesn't even sell one single more product, it has definitely been a success.
How do you feel about the potential growth of it? Is it exciting, a bit terrifying? Because it's very different. A product is very different, let alone a product which will appeal to potentially every female on the planet. And actually men as well, like the way it works, so it stops you having like an extra tummy when you tuck your shirt in. And there's so many styles at the moment where you do tuck your shirt in. I've always thought the last place I want to draw more attention is my stomach, and if you're shoving a load of fabric down there, not cool. So actually the potential and the market potential is huge of this. How does that make you feel?
Absolutely terrified, first of all. Then I start putting my ops hat on and say, right, okay, where are we for stock? How are we shipping? How can we, track customer relations? How can we do this, that, and the other? So I'm very much, if I'm happy to be stretched and challenged once I have some sort of a pathway that I can ensure that we're protected, and that we can do what we say we're going to do. That's really, really important for us, is that we kind of, if we say we're going to do something, that we can do it and that we deliver. And I suppose under promise and over deliver is probably a message that we probably go for in all my businesses. I do the same when I coach. I won't promise I can do everything, but I will absolutely give you everything I have to get there. And Equitas is the same, and it's no different with Envious.
Really cool. Have you found it quite challenging or exciting, the marketing of it? Because again, different audience, different pain points, different issues. You're saying about you having to learn as you go. How are you finding that?
It is lengthy, and it's definitely challenging. What I'm finding the trickiest about it is that it's so deep, as in there's so many layers that you can go into with regards to marketing. We have all of these ideas, all of these things that we want to do, should do, but it's lacking the time to actually be able to create the content to get it out there. And that has probably been the most challenging thing, is the time. You want to do it, how it has to be done, but it's actually the creation of it and the execution of it which is the hardest part. So yeah, having to accept that we're only 2 people is, and not wanting to kind of hire it out. We're very, very, very are very personal to us. And so with that, then the loss of control with hiring it out to somebody doesn't sit right with us right now, while we're still learning and while it's such a steep learning curve. So we're happy to keep it close to home and plug away at it, and know that everything that's on the to-do list will get done at some point, but probably not in as timely a fashion as we would endeavor.
How do you find the juggle? Because obviously you've got 2 little girls and you've got your coaching, horses, Equitas. You've got other things I know, but my brain is not helping me today. And obviously Nicola's got 4 boys. I mean, that's staggering. Anyway, I've got 2 and that's plenty. How are you juggling this?
It is definitely a juggle. I mean, between the 2 of us, we're non-stop. I mean, there's no denying the thing is about it, that we're heavily supported by our families, and our kids see us working really hard, but we are heavily supported. There's no doubt about that, and we do work incredibly hard. What absolutely helps us in all aspects is that we love what we do and we're passionate about what we do. And for that reason, you've no problem getting out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning to get a couple of hours done in the quiet before the the house gets crazy. I often have most of our meetings, and even same with Equitas, we're out of bed early and trying to get kickstart the day before calls start taking over and news starts happening and all of that. So it's definitely nonstop. Trying to get a balance of it is hard, but when you're passionate about something, it doesn't always feel like work, and so the sense of achievement within that is quite high. But yeah, I mean, I'm often packing envy bands and sending them off, and the girls are at my feet, and I'll go in and I'll get a few packed, and then back to the kitchen and get something organized for lunch. You know what I mean? It's you just kind of keep the head down and get it done as best you can. But no, the things that I'm definitely, for the yard, I'm not riding as much as I was. I just feel that at this moment, thankfully, the horses that I have in are very, very they're very straightforward, uncomplicated, and I have a girl in the yard that helps me out, so she looks after them and she'll ride them as well for me. So, I'm very, very fortunate and grateful to have the help around me. My mum and dad are obviously heavily involved in the yard as well, so they really, really help to take the pressure off. Now, any horses that I have that can come over here to my house to the fields, I have them here. And I'm checking on them and feeding them a couple of times a day. So that part's on me directly, but it's minimal, I suppose. My coaching, I kind of keep it down to a couple of days a week and have childcare organized for that in advance. And then everything else just kind of slots in around it. So there's literally not many free minutes or hours in the day, but all very well spent in my opinion.
No, I think it does sound like you've got a really good system, even though I'm sure it feels like absolute carnage a lot of the time. And I think it's really good for children to see their parents working hard. I think it sets a really good example um, of the future in the way that work has evolved over the last, God, however many years, and that the juggle is real. Like you can have a lot, whether it's everything or not, but there has to be sacrifices and the juggle along the way. Um, so thinking about the time since you've started up with with Nichola, what's been the kind of high along that journey so far? I mean, it's only, yeah, what's been the high?
That's a hard question. It's very hard um to narrow it down to one. I think, to be honest, it's probably how close and um how well myself and Nicola work together. Like when we started, we did think that we would work well together, but a year and a half down the line, and our meetings are slick, our operations are slick, you know what I mean? We're getting more and more confident, showing up online, all of that. That is an incredible high. And then getting to just experience kind of new things. So recently, myself and Nicola went to a ladies' day on one of the race courses there recently, and neither of us had ever done anything like that before. So being able to do that with your best friend in the way of business is, yeah, that was a kind of a pinch me moment. And then Nicola was also speaking the week before. Nicola was speaking down an event in Cork. It was a fundraiser event, and she was speaking, and we got to go down with our husbands and have the night away, and again, in the name of work and business, and that's definitely stuff that would not have happened if it wasn't for Envious. So yeah, it sounds a bit kind of cliche, but getting to spend time with our friends in the name of business is definitely a high, for sure. And then of course, hearing that your messaging and your reason for being in business is resonating with people, and getting the feedback coming back in from clients, that's really, really hard to beat. And it's the same way with Equitas, when you start hearing and seeing people showing up for each other and seeing women championing other women, and as you said, unashamedly, unashamedly so, that just makes it all worthwhile. That's definitely that kind of thoughts where, you know, never be afraid to fix someone else's crown, that kind of mentality is just, yeah, I think that's probably what really gives me the most satisfaction in probably all of my endeavors.
No, I love that. And what kind of challenges have you had along the way? I'm not going to say lows because I think I might just change it to challenges generally because, I think sometimes the lows can create challenges, but we can do our best learning from those. So have you had any challenges along the way where you just thought, God, this is really hard?
Um, Probably with regards to Envious, the sheer volume of work that goes into creating a solid foundation. That is, there's a lot in that. Like, even to launch a product, all the different levels that you have to ensure are put in place. So it doesn't fit. It was the sheer amount of work. And then when you think you have something boxed off, you've just opened up another area that you can explore, and you want to go down, and there's a whole other area of work there to be achieved. So probably the volume has definitely been a challenge. And as I said earlier on, the time then that goes along with that. With Equitas, the challenge has probably been similar in that getting our messaging out there. And it's probably highlighting, I know you said it earlier on, that women and men in equestrianism, it's one of the only sports that we compete on a level playing field. But it's trying to educate people on the difference between equality and equity, and where that difference lies, and that equity is proportional fairness, and that ensuring that people are starting from the same place and not just given the same opportunities. But that has probably been a hard challenge with Equitas, in that consistency, and also not getting kind of there's a lot of politics in equestrianism, and I think everybody and every country probably has its own, and probably trying to stay true to ourselves and stay independent has been one of the other big challenges. Not everybody is going to like what you're doing and why you're doing it, but we're going to firm and remember why we're here, and that's to champion the women that are essentially the grassroots and the foundation of the equine sport worldwide, but over 70% in Ireland, to be specific about it. Yeah, that has been a challenge, to not kind of conform to what the governing bodies kind of want you to do or want you to say, or when you're media, people try and put words in your mouth and try and dictate what you'll say and what you will put out there. But it's about staying true to our ethos and our mentality, and doing what's best for the women within the industry.
Excellent. And the last question we ask you is, if there's any advice you could give people, whether this is setting up a business or getting involved, perhaps in a business with a friend, or in an area they're not that confident in from a business point of view, what would that advice be?
There's no doubt about it. I couldn't do what I'm doing without being surrounded by the incredible people in all aspects, at home, with the horses, with Envious, with Equitas. There's absolutely no way I could do it without incredible people. But I'm also surrounding myself with people who inspire me and challenge me. We're not just yes people to each other. So we're never ever going to be strong in all aspects of our projects. So it's about identifying your weaknesses, knowing your strengths, identifying your weaknesses, and then being able to lean on other people to help you with the deficit that your weaknesses may cause. And just staying kind of humble, and with then leaving the ego at the door, because we have to be able to receive criticism and be ready to take it on, and that's where real growth happens, and that's where real success happens. So that would be my advice, is to surround yourself with people who support you, that you can trust, that you are inspired by, and that challenge you, and kind of hold you accountable for things, as holding yourself accountable. I think that's really, really important. So with Equitas, we have the Equestrian Mental Health Summit, which is coming up. So it's the first time that all of the industries or the different pillars of the equine industry are coming together, all in aid of equestrian mental health, and raising awareness and generating more understanding around it, and removing the stigma. It's a real problem. I'm not sure what the stats are there for you in the UK, but it's a real problem here in Ireland. Like there's 78% of equestrians would like more support around the mental health. There's just like 9 out of 10 feel that there needs to be a chat line set up. There's been what seems to be an epidemic of suicide here, more specifically in the racing, but or industry wide as well, and it's scary. The pressures that people are under are really hard. So I think surrounding yourself with the right people and doing good things, if that makes any sense, is really important, especially when the ground's a little bit shaky. You need stability around you.
Definitely. Is there anything else you would like to add today before I ask you all the places where we can find you online?
No, I think I mentioned the summit there. If there's anybody in Ireland, the 9th and 10th of September, that would like to come, there's tickets for sale on that. You can see more information about it on equitas.ie. We would love to have the support of the equestrian community for it, in any way, shape, or form. As I said, this is about creating change and really trying to tackle a problem that is growing, that we feel that if we don't do something about it, it will escalate. So yeah, support for that would probably be the biggest thing that I'd like to highlight, and for I suppose for everything else that I do, is just to kind of support each other and lift each other up, and know that it doesn't take from our own well-being. And yeah, that'll probably be the height of my wisdom to impart.
Well, it's a very good way. It's a very good piece of wisdom to impart. Can you tell us all the places we can find you online?
So for me, I am Sarah Elebert Eventing. I'm on Instagram and Envious Styling and Dress Hire. We also have enviousdresshire.com. Equitas is equitas.ie, and we are Equitas Era, so Equitas EIRE on Instagram, and then mutually the same across the board with Facebook as well. So we're heavily present, and if anyone has any queries or wants to chat, DMs are always open.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Sarah. It's been lovely to chat as always. I mean, I love chatting to you anyway, and your accent, I could listen to you speak all day. So I've genuinely had the loveliest 3/4 of an hour. I'm probably going to have this summer holiday. So thank you for providing that.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.